Christ in love.
Christ is risen. Fellow Kafir, Goy, Gaijin, Lawai, et al. Christ is risen. Truly, he is Lord. I was going to start with singing the Tropayon, but yeah, the usual standard intro is plenty enough, as my father used to say. Hope everyone's doing well. Cinco de Mayo is coming upon us. For those that are in the United States, there's an irony there. They say the day the most avocados are sold. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to cover. I wasn't planning on this. I've been wanting to do this, of course, for a long time. I keep coming up across stuff that I want to jump on and share, but I'm trying to, well, as some might know, I've been dedicating a few months now on this project, Imagine Reimagined. I've actually taken a break. I haven't worked on it in about a week or two, to be honest. Just burnt out on it. The biggest problem, of course, and I've spent months on that, is the vocals. My vocals just aren't getting it. And it's like it's a quagmire. The more I work on it, the worse it gets. At one point I had it, but then I wasn't happy because I got anxious about YouTube and its fascism, copyrights and all that. So I want to make sure the lyrics were completely different from the original. And so I went back and started changing things, and it just became quicksand after that. So at this point, the vocals are serviceable. I may make a couple of changes yet. I may not. I'm not sure. But right now, I'm just putting the finishing touches, as I say, on the video, which is like the video that you just watched, the intro. There's a lot involved, so it's become a bit more involved than I first imagined. No pun intended. Anyway, Yeah, so there's a lot I want to cover. I'm not going to sit here and try to cover all these things that I didn't do these past, I don't know, a couple of months now. I can't remember the last live I did, which was another catch up session. Really, this was prompted by Patriotic Christian UK. He's been inviting me repeatedly in the past couple of months to do a live stream. For whatever reason, things fall through. He's got a lot on his plate. May be blessed. He was going to do one on Lloyd's channel tonight. He didn't appear for that. Some of you might know he's been struggling with his personal health. I can only imagine. Yeah, no pun intended. Not even trying to be funny there. um, yeah, so maybe blessed. Hopefully I've got some things lined up. He did make an appearance for, well, I was going to say for me, but yeah. Anyways, he made an appearance about a month ago, I think it was now, on Eric's show, the Cross Christian discussion group. Talked about some things there. That was a really, really good one. I should look that up and share that with you guys, actually. Um, yeah, let me do that now. But that was a really good live stream, I thought. It's a shame that I mean he's getting some traction again, talking about the patriotic Christian. But it's a shame. I mean, again, we disagree on a lot of things, just for the record. But again, people might know how I feel about Zionism at this point. Years, nearly a decade now of intensive academic research. But even before that, a decade before that, and before that, a lifelong buff of media, especially Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Zionist in the world. I actually literally have been because I was one of the mass media's biggest Moonies most of my life. So therefore, by default, I was a Zionist myself up until very recently, when I just I became so disgusted with the like that I just was like, man, I got to at least stop lying to myself and to you guys, of course. Anyway, yeah, I mean that's one of the things. Some of the I mean I'm Greek, so the UK isn't exactly Greece's ally, despite Western media. Um, things like that. Definitely not a Trump supporter. Yada yada. Anyway, that being said, I definitely in some ways, I don't think I can measure up to this guy. Um, he's quite impressive. He inspires me a lot. So I'm been wanting to cover some things. We went on Eric's channel. They allowed me to get on panel. I didn't really get to say but a fraction of what I wanted to share, unfortunately, and I think it's a crime against humanity, to be frank. But he's got his own agenda over there. Maybe blessed. So it is what it is. So anyway, Patriotic Christian invited me to his channel. That's still up in the air. We might do one tonight. He said tonight, but he's disappeared. So assuming his health kicked in, or his bad health kicked in. But yeah, I mean, I may do one. If we never do one like he wants, I may do a presentation for him, a tribute to him in the future. Because the way he handles some things and some situations that he himself is not bringing light to, and that speaks volumes for his own character. Regarding that, yeah, I think it's exemplary and it needs to be shown. People need to see what he's doing, what it's like to be in the thick of things while still focusing on Christ, and arguably to some degree, potentially changing history, at least to some degree, in the process. I don't know if that's. I mean, I'm not trying to be melodramatic here. Just factual. If anybody knows me, do my best to be factual, including things about myself, my shortcomings included. Yeah, I'm looking for Eric's channel. I've got actually my list is growing again. There it is. No, yep, there it is. No wonder, because it looks like Patriotic Christian's old logo, and that's why I got me confused. Anyway, so I'm going to share the link to that live stream that he did on their channel. If I can find it. Yeah, here it is. There's second to last. Oh, it looks like they're doing one tonight too. Anyway, so yeah, here's a link in the chat. Where's it? Where's the chat? There it is. And I'll also include that in the description. Yeah. What can I say, guys? Also, Phil used to go by 4 moments. Now it's some Bible quote. I'm not sure what that is. But recently he's done a video, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago or so, where he was talking about how he's going to have to check into not a halfway home. What do you call it when you basically, I forgot what it's called now. When it looks like your days are limited, and so you go to a place where basically you await your passing. It's tragic. Him and I have had a falling out over theology, which is tragic because underneath it all, I think he's a really good guy, but he got really nasty. At any rate, he's a guy who's got some really good intent. I got to know him to some degree. It's a shame. I mean, it's a real shame that. But I will say this: he knows that his days are numbered. He seems to be keeping his noose, remaining Christ-centered. His last days, and we have to do that to the very end. So that's good to see. I hope he maintains that spirit. Pray for him. But likewise, he's going to be spared all the psychosis, all the insane evil we're being bombarded with in these years to come. So then there's that. I mean, I don't want to trade places with him, but there's a silver lining to that cloud. Likewise with Patriotic Christian, he's been public about his health and how his days are numbered. Docs give him maybe a couple of years, give or take. The good news is that he knows his time is limited. He's on the clock, and he's evidently doing his best to keep his noose as well. These people inspire. And, of course, others get the YouTube algorithms, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions. Well, these two gentlemen and the like are swept under the carpet and habitually harassed. Yeah. Anyway, oh, and Eric was also public on his show, so I guess I'm able to talk about. I don't know what's going on with Eric, but he's mentioned some doctor's visits and all that. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight. He's doing it live tonight, so evidently I'll be up for that. I might drop in on his channel if he lets me. Anyway, yeah. So I admire the guy. We don't necessarily see eye to eye on some things, but I definitely admire the guy. So prayers for him. Even if I didn't admire him, prayers for him. Nuts. I mean, healing is wonderful, but the most important thing, like we read in Anthony Bloom's book, Beginning to Pray, it's not so much that you're injured or you even lost your life, but whether or not you lost your integrity and what you died for. That's Anthony Bloom's father speaking to Anthony Bloom in his youth. Wow. Anyway, yeah, I might just do that. I might do some readings too. Maybe at the end of the stream. There's some things I want to do, like from The Way of the Pilgrim. I might go over some things with that. Maybe something else from Beginning to Pray. Really deep stuff. You can find free PDFs online for both of those, like I may or may not have. But yeah, I mean, both of them are pretty affordable. Even if you don't, like $10 for Beginning to Pray. Very powerful short read. And those that are seeking to pray unceasingly, The Way of the Pilgrim, not to be confused with The Pilgrim's Tale. The Way of the Pilgrim. Unknown author, really. It's a powerful read. Good insight. It's kind of like the Screw Tape Letters. It's kind of like that. Um, yeah. So what am I fumbling around for? I forgot already. I gave you Eric's link. Something else I want to share with you guys. Good God, talk about unprofessional. Anyway, this is pretty impromptu, guys. Hopefully, I've sent a link to Patriotic Christian. I don't expect to see him. Like I said, I'm sure he's struggling with his health right now. I could be wrong. But yeah. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's share some of the things. Some of the things that I may have missed. This was for tonight here. Let me see if you guys see this. Yeah. Okay. So this was for tonight for Patriotic Christian is going to be on Lloyd's channel. This is on the Fabians. This is something that Jay Dyer likes to talk about a lot. Consequently, I'm in public about Jay Dyer and how I feel about his Christian bashing, his Greek bashing, his standard Russian behavior. It's horrendous to say the least. I will say this though. In other ways, yeah, I can't compare to him either. His patience when it comes to when he does those live call-in shows. Good God, I couldn't do a fraction of that. I couldn't do a fraction of that without just losing it. I don't know. I don't know how the guy does with patience. He was on what's his name? Lee something Lee the black dude with the Richard Pryor crack face, all messed up. Christian, he was on that guy. J.C. Lee Peterson. I think that's right. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that guy was doing his best to prod him and get him angry. He's like, "Why are you angry? Why are you angry? Why are you angry?" Like that. Just doing his best to get Jay to lose his cool, to get his aha moment. You see, like a libtard. But yeah, he still kept his cool under all that, and even put him in his place respectfully, which was nice. It was amazing. Anyway, yeah. So the Fabians, I'm not going to go over that. That was just for his show. Let's do something that I wanted to cover way back. Let's see, when did this come out? About 2 months ago. Are you guys seeing this? Yes. Oh yeah. Now here's a guy that I I've admired. He came on my radar. I don't know, about 2-3 years ago when I was on one of the panels. I think it was on. L's channel. I can't remember. It might have been hers, or Reason Answers. I can't. Anyways, one of the panels. That was the first time. Actually, no, I wasn't introduced to him. I was introduced to David Wood. And then I looked at David Wood and saw AP. AP was referenced in one of the live streams. Actually, in response to one of the comments that I made, or a question that I asked. Or yeah, something that I shared, or something that Christian Prince talked about. This secret meaning of the genealogy of Christ. And Elle said, yeah, it was Elle's channel. It was Elle's channel, because she goes, it's debunked. Anyway, so yeah, I checked out one of Wood's live streams. That was a couple of years ago, and saw this guy AP. I was like, man, this guy's kind of cool. He's pretty funny. The two of them are, like, as the Greeks say, kautsamiki, like underwear and socks. They go together. They're otherwise a mismatch, but they go together necessarily. I don't think either one of those people are very good by themselves. But when the two get together, man, it's fun to watch. Outside of the insatiable psychotic Zionism, outside of that crap, the very communist, you better be a Zionist, or that kind of shenanigans. Yeah, outside of that, they're pretty cool. Um, yeah. Anyway, so let's take a look. The big thing is portraying Sham as the devil. I mean, he was always the same person, but none of these clowns never ever said anything about Sham for years. Why? Because he was Protestant, and as soon as he becomes Catholic, and then I'm not Catholic, I'm Orthodox, Greek Orthodox. I don't necessarily have a special place in my heart for Catholics. I don't loathe them like the Protestants do, but at the same time, I'm not exactly a fan of theirs either. But I'm not going to go around saying Catholics aren't Christian; they're going to hell. Set them on fire. And this is craps that I heard from some of these WW cult leaders. They're self-labeled Christian apologists. Anyway, so yeah, while he was Protestant bashing into people, he was, they kept their mouth shut. But suddenly they won't keep their mouth shut, slandering their own brother. Are they Christian, by the way, or what? Don't they know you shouldn't slander your own brother? You guys are probably going, "Oh, you're a hypocrite." Judge not, lest ye be judged. I'm responding to their vileness. Where were they when Sham was being Sham all these years, but Protestant? But now there's Catholic all of a sudden. Wow. I mean, what? It's like he's the biggest enemy all of a sudden. Wow. And then we can't do anything about YouTube censoring Christians. I wonder why. Anyway, so speaking of clowns, this clown, and I love him to death, but a shame on him. It all started their campaign against Sham to portray him as a devil because now he's Catholic, with some kind of public claim by Sham that AP is getting divorced, and AP was on vacation or something, and so he was silent, but everyone else was speaking for him, very Christian, and so yeah, denial. Oh, he's not. Everyone's calling Sham a liar. Lo and behold, homie puts out this video. Yeah, by the way, I'm getting divorced. Even though he came back, and the first thing he did was say, "Oh, that's a lie. Shame on Sham." These people, man. And for a few months now, he's parading himself as Orthodox, and the GOA, no less. But now that his bishop challenged him and said, "Hey, you know what? About the passions, maybe what you're doing online is not good for you spiritually." Again, something I've been public about. I've changed. I've changed a lot, and that's become and I'm going to talk about that later in the stream. That's become a rude awakening for me recently, personally. Just how much on a spiritual level I've changed. Some of you that are paying attention to what I have to say for whatever reason know that I'm at a crossroads. Know that I've been struggling as to whether or not I should become a monk or not. I've been pursuing that. It's been a process, but I've had some rude awakenings during Pascha and in that pursuit about where I am spiritually and how far I removed myself from God these past few years. Even the faithful will be deceived. And this is coming from a guy who studied psychology, who studied education, aka conditioning, who studied theology, who's studied app design and development, implementation and evaluation of apps when they were first coming out by some major leaders, literally the best education program when it came to that graduate program, but also professors in that program were major corporate leaders of the United States of America. So even I'm aware of the implications of being submersed in this stuff. I've succumbed to it. And I've been very public about that. I'm like, guys, I don't know if I could do the streaming anymore because I'm going to lose my soul in the process. Lo and behold, I'm in jeopardy. No joke. And some of you may see that just in the language that I've used lately. It's quite evident. Judge them by their fruits, right? Anyway, so, AP, shame on you. I love you, brother, but get your shit together, man. Either with Christ or you're not. And I know you're new to the game as an ex-Muslim / atheist, Jew wannabe for a year, and I called that out too while I was doing that, which you later admitted to. But now parading yourself around as Orthodox, and then when your bishop warns you, hey, you know what? Choosing money and the passions over your spiritual walk, is unhealthy for you. You start slandering your bishop publicly, the first thing you do, like a little child, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. What am I talking about? Well, let's take a look. Is it this one? Let me see.
Perspective, as much as I find myself in agreement with the Orthodox.
Okay, yeah.
What kind of church does that?
Right.
About Islam and all my stuff, Jesus and how he spoke to the leaders of the temple, how they gatekeep and put stumbling blocks before the people, right? I don't know. I get really disheartened with all this. Decided to go somewhere else. And how he spoke to the leaders of the certain bishops.
I mean, it's worth noting how he's comparing himself to Christ. You sure you're not Protestant, brah? Wow. Anyway, all right. Let me jump ahead. I know where the timestamp is on this. I thought I had set, but it's not.
Because I don't agree with.
Okay, no. That's a slander.
Are people who are anti-Semitic, who are
Nope.
It seems
anti-Semitic. You can't say anything. I guess he's still venerating the infallible Jews, because if anybody says anything real about the Jews or the state of Israel, suddenly they're anti-Semitic. It's like saying Islamophobe or homophobe. Kitty Lason, man. It's disgusting. And this is why I don't watch either one of their channels or when they're together. Because this kind of vileness, this kind of hatred for the truth, well, I mean, he said it earlier. Who else hated the truth? They even crucified Christ over it. That's what he's doing. He's crucifying Christ by slandering his bishop, because the bishop is warning him in a personal conversation about his spiritual well-being if he continues to be online doing what he does. Titus 1, choosing filthy lucre, wagging his tongue. It doesn't get much more anti-Christian than this. Unfortunately, he's dragging the Orthodox name in the mud, and he's not even Orthodox. God. And that's his complaint. Well, why am I Orthodox? Why am I... Buddy, you can't even get Christianity 101 correct. Here you are, not getting what you want, the way you want, when you want. And the first thing you do is you get online and you slander a bishop because of the love of money. Your shekels that you joke about, you and the sociopath. Wow. Let me see if I've backed off far enough. Let's go back far, because I'm tired of
that we need to.
I don't want to subject too much of myself to this. I used to love this guy, but his behavior, what he's done, the path that he chose, there are no words for it other than wolves in sheep's clothing. What Christ says.
Go through, and it takes some time.
Look at his handshake.
went to meet the
He's quite. His hands are shaking. He's so angry. His hands are shaking. He's so angry at a Christian bishop for warning him, hey, if you continue on this path online, you will fail spiritually. His hands are shaking with anger, like a demon. This is not melodrama. This is insane. This is evil. He needs to be called out for what he did. I can't believe none of the Christian apologists. Where are the Ruskies on this? Where's Jediah on this? Where's Andrew on this? Where's Jim Bob? Where's the Ortho Bros? What the fuck is an Ortho Bro, by the way? I'll put that to the side. That stream is coming to call out all these clowns, the Christian apologists and the Ortho clowns. Enough's enough. But let's focus on this Jacobite for a sec.
the bishop. He already knew who I was and what I'm doing online. We spoke a little bit. He was a little bit cold.
Right. So he's talking about how he wants to be baptized into the Orthodox faith, but it didn't happen when he wanted it the way he wanted it. I mean, he hasn't been even a year as a catechumen. Who in the hell? To me, that was suspect the way his priest said. I think his priest is Lebanese, by the way, and also a Zionist himself. Go figure. So these two are buddy, and his priest. Oh yeah, less than a year. Let's baptize you. What? I mean, that's special treatment, to say the least. That's not economia. That's suspect. So yeah, he was told no. That's a no-go. Thank God. Thank God there's some reason, because I've lost my faith in bishops, to be honest with you. Not all of them, but after 2020, yeah, a lot of them for sure. Some I personally know, by the way. Anyway, let's continue with this clown.
For a bishop, I mean, every priest I interacted with was like the most wonderful person out there. The bishop was a little bit cold, and he had something on his mind. And what he basically...
He was a little cold. Well, maybe he can see right through you, or maybe you're projecting. Anyway,
he asked me to do at that.
But I mean, Cole, what? Who the hell are you, buddy? You got an audience with a bishop. Bishop's got a lot to play. They're in charge of an entire region. Oh, I know. You're used to all the Jews in the state of Israel kissing your ass because you're some kind of a www celebrity with I don't know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, followers, and so they throw some money at you and keep you in check, control you, and you're used to that kind of treatment. And so when you're in front of Christian leadership, suddenly you expect the same kind of treatment. Where's the humility in that? Humility is Christianity 101. I know a lot of people in the West, that goes over their head, the humility part. But look at Christ. I don't know how Protestants overlook the humility part. It's insane. Protestantism, forgive me, Protestantism, let me be frank here, is absolutely ego-driven. Ego-driven. Where is Christ in the ego? When Christ says, follow me, where's the ego in that? The church fathers, that's the biggest thing they talk about, how ego is destructive, how it spawns the other sins. But in the West, for some reason, it's all ego. Just like we're seeing here with this ass clown who for years he was atheist and then a Jew wannabe for a year and then parading around as Orthodox even though he wasn't Orthodox with less than a year. And now he's slandering a Christian bishop because he's greater than him, because he expects special treatment when he's got his audience. He's cold. What did you want to go golfing with him?
Point, what he basically asked me to do is, he said to me that joining the church is a process that is in front of us that we need to make, that we need to go through.
Right. Why is he saying that like it's some kind of issue? Didn't his priest tell him the same thing to prepare him? Or was he too busy giving him the red carpet and quickly expediting the process of being baptized into the faith as a fellow Zionist, Lebanese to Turk? And again, I love AP. I know it doesn't sound like it, but his behavior is despicable. He needs to repent. And I doubt he will, just like he didn't repent when it comes to Sham, calling Sham a liar, lying about his divorce. And he won't repent in this case because, well, he loves his shekels.
And it takes some time, but he used some metaphors and said to me that I spend a lot of time um, forming a fist with my hands.
Use some metaphors. Spend a lot of time forming your fist. Well, ass clown. Yes, that's exactly what you do. You see, between you and the sociopath, David Wood, who's made a career of bragging about how he's a sociopath, you're the straight man. David Wood comes in with the straight line delivery jokes, and you're like the whole time, but together, and once in a while you throw in a stupid joke that's not funny, but it's cute. You've got that, dweebish personality. Um, Jay Wood, he's got his like professional. I'm an academic, even though I'm wearing a wife beater shirt uh, thing. It's like Katsanvriki, socks and underwear. So yeah, absolutely, straight fist. The Muslims. Thank you for your shekels. The stupid people that say anything about the Jews. Yeah, it's an iron fist, bro. Where's the self-awareness? Never mind the integrity. Never mind the humility. Where is the self-awareness? You got it on video. Don't you ever watch yourself? Don't you even know how you sound? All this video you got available to you? Any surprise that it takes time? It's a process to become part of the faith. The doors. This is why they shout the doors in the middle of the service, by the way. Transition from one service to the other. Kitty elation. Let's continue.
And that I should do that less at this point and open my hands and pray instead, and possibly simply put my activism that I'm doing to rest.
So this surprises him. Again, this is exactly what I'm complaining about myself publicly, calling out to you guys, trying to, well, you are my soundboard. Calling out to you guys repeatedly to help keep me in check. I've been struggling to find a spiritual father, displaced for a few years now. I get close, but no cigar. And so, unfortunately, I have to rely on strangers to make sure I'm not getting out of line spiritually. And that's why I'm very public about these things. That's how I kill evil, including my own evil. Put it out there. That's pretty pathetic. It is. But that's where I'm at. Compared to this guy now. His bishop told him about Catechism 101, the process. It takes some time. It's a process. And he's got a problem with it. Yeah, you're not supposed to be, there's nothing Christian about that. Where does it say that Christ said, pound your fist, be angry at the Muslims? Make sure that you have tens of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. Angry, creating a mob think mentality towards Muslims. Who preaches that? Does Jesus Christ preach that? Do his apostles preach that? Does the church, do the early followers to the original Christian apologists, the actual Christian apologists, do they preach that? Who? First, second, third century? Thereafter, who preaches that? Oh, you guys do. On the webnet, the self-labeled Christian apologists. You guys preach that. Oh, we need to go to war. But Jesus told them, said, you need to keep this sword. You need that where you're going. Shenanigans like that. For those that have ears, this is your wake-up call. I hope, and I'm showing the video so you can see for yourself. Put the link in the chat right now. I'll put that in the description later too. Because some reason, sometimes my chat box disappears later on. So I'll make sure to put these in the description too. See for yourself. Is this Christian behavior? Now, unfortunately, some of you will say yes. Unfortunately, some of you are goats, wolves in sheep's clothing. You're lost. You deviated from the deviation. Your deviance of Catholicism, which Catholicism is a deviation. It was the first denomination, Catholicism. It was the first Protestant faith. The Catholics were the first Protestants, despite what you read in your Western texts. Let's continue.
And there is something very nice about it and something very beautiful about it. It's cool. Pray more. I did indeed do that. And I was very, very much into it. But what he was basically telling me.
Pray more. Yeah, it's something very beautiful. I did indeed do that. So much for praying in the closet. I mean, you Protestants should relate to that comment.
Was that he has a problem with what I'm doing online. It's not.
That's just like a Robert De Niro laugh. I want to punch him in the face. That Trump. I want to punch him in the face. No, I'm not. I'm not a Trump supporter. But why is he laughing? Is that a nervous laugh? Is that mocking? Is that cackling? What is that? You tell me.
Not Zionism. It's not Israel.
Hold on. Did his bishop say anything about Israel? Ask this guy. Those of you who are his followers, ask him. Hold him accountable. Did his bishop say anything about Israel? But he's going to make it about, oh, you're being anti-Zionist, because he knows that he's got an online cult. And he knows that his followers, as soon as he puts the trigger in there, Zionism, anti-Semitic, right, muddy the waters, all of a sudden this mob is going to say, yeah, Zionism, yeah, kill the Christian bishop. And believe me, you're on the verge of that, unfortunately. Unfortunately, being pushed to choose between Zionism or BRICS. Between BRICS, pagans, or Jew anti-Christians. Jew anti-Christians. Is a Zionist being anti-Christian right now? Am I lying? Your evidence is right in front of you. Am I lying? With his tens, hundreds of followers. Listen to this crap. Oh, but the Greeks, they'll look at you when you walk through the door. No kidding, because we might have another apostate prophet walking through the door. Oh, by the way, they let you in through the door. They welcome you. Greek hospitality is unlike any other. It's been said, not by the Greeks, but by others. Yet, the people that come in do nothing but slander the Greeks. Jay Dyer going on about Greeks need to stop being Greek. Yeah. You got a problem with it? Yeah. You need to stop being Greek. How many people have said Turks need to stop being like Turks? Russians need to stop being like Russians. I've had a newly convert / new priest preached to his community, his parish, in an Orthodox parish, about how he drove by a Chinese Oriental church and looked festive and he wanted to join, but he felt uncomfortable because they got slanted eyes. And so, you Greeks, he was talking to his parish, you Greeks need to stop being Greek so us non Greeks can feel comfortable. He felt great about that speech. Would you dare go into that Oriental parish and tell them to stop being Oriental? He might be a hick from Florida, but he's not a Baptist, no less, ex-Baptist, and rushed in to be ordained Orthodox and then become a priest and then thrown into leadership of a parish. Kyrie eleison. But he won't go to an Oriental church and tell them to stop being Oriental. Why is it okay to slander the Greeks the way everyone does? Let's continue with this Turk.
It is my anti-Islam stuff, which is quite funny because I really want to be careful with how I frame this and how I explain this, because
now you want to be careful. How special, how considerate of you. Go fuck yourself, man. I love you, bro. You better get your shit together.
I'm not trying to. I do not want to criticize or blast or say anything wrong about the bishop or the church in general or anything like that. But
are you kidding me? Where's the integrity? Where's the self-awareness? Is this guy suddenly Muslim again? What the f just happened? Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I've been doing this for a few minutes now, and I'll continue to do this for even longer, but I don't want to do it. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow. I think maybe I need to smack this guy in the face next time I see him. Never mind. I'll smack him in the face. That's what he deserves right now. Fucking spit in the face. God have mercy on his soul. You people, your followers, you need to keep hold them accountable. If you love God, first and foremost, if you love God for that reason, but if you care about this guy too, obviously, I bet you anything, he's becoming worse and worse spiritually because you turned away from the faith. He's out here being anti-Christian, just like Christian Prince. Christian Prince does the same crap. Well, you don't need a priest. You don't need a bishop. He does this crap over and over and over again. He's been there for years. You need a priest. You need a bishop. I don't know, another Arab going on about the numbers. Oh, you just say the magic words. Oh, look, I saved another one. Let's chalk that up. Moving on. Doesn't talk to him again. That's a Christian Prince bringing people to Christianity. Oh, look, got it on here. I got my likes. I got my followers. I did it on there. Another Muslim doesn't like Islam. They said they'll think about Jesus. Yay, praise me. These people, man. These people. And of course, YouTube boosts them. Outside of what? Copyright issues? Once in a blue moon?
I as a person want to be part of the church. I want to take communion. I want to regularly go to the church. I want to be a member of the church.
I want. Well, I didn't get what I want when I want, so I'm gonna tear you into you. This guy needs to put his place. That. I mean.
Church. I want to be baptized and all that. To my understanding, the history of
you earn it. Nobody cares about what you want. You earn it. And right now you're doing the exact opposite. Shame on you. God have mercy on your soul. I hope you repent.
Of catechism, the preparation period before being baptized in the church, traditionally, in the very beginnings, there was little to no time between believing and getting baptized. After a while,
where did you get this from? Oh man.
the church decided to make people generally wait for a while and learn about Christianity.
Does he not sound like a Muslim right now? I mean, I'm going to put him in the Protestant category because he's not Orthodox. With Protestants like this, who needs Muslims?
Until they can be baptized. And that is very reasonable. It happened early on in the first centuries in response to...
Oh, wait a minute. You just got through saying that, well, early on, they didn't wait. But in the first century, they waited? Like a Muslim, he can't get his story straight. Go figure. I mean, he's got his anti-Christian, pro-Zionist script, Zio script, and he can't get his story straight. He's contradicting himself. What a surprise!
Rising threats of heresies. At some point, heresies became too big of an issue to ignore, which is why they started demanding that people who join the church are catechized and learn more about the faith before they are fully baptized into the church. And they can meanwhile still come to the church and participate in all that. However, so in that case, you could understand that, right? You could say, okay, you want to prevent misunderstandings, you want to prevent heresies, you want to prevent all kinds of different things, which is why you should have a waiting period for people to properly learn their faith and all that.
Yes, and you're living proof 101. You're living proof 101. Again, the doors.
However, my priest in charge thinks that I should be baptized.
Your Lebanese priest is also Zionist? Is that the one? Your buddy who said, well, in a few months, we're going to make you Orthodox because you're a big celebrity, and I like you.
My bishop doesn't want to baptize me.
Because you're an obvious piece of shit, and your bishop evidently is a real Christian. You can see right through you. Evidently. It turns out your bishop had a point, didn't he, buddy? Turns out your bishop knew your character the right way. Turns out. I guess that's his fault. Let's not have any integrity. Let's not fix my character. It's your fault. And start kicking and slandering Christian leaders. Wow. Again, with Protestants like this, who needs Muslims? Lord have mercy.
At this moment, because he's not satisfied with my activism. Now, what does my activism have to do with my faith or my understanding?
See, notice how he paused there. He caught himself. He realized how full of shit he is. Look at the Duper's Delight. Let's go back. Watch this Duper's Delight kick in too.
He's not satisfied with my activism. Now, what does my activism have to do with...
Did you catch the Duper's Delight? He knows he's being full of shit right now. That's the worst part of it. See, it's not stupidity. This is not prejudice. To call him prejudice is a compliment at this point. Duper's Delight. He knows he's full of shit. He knows he's deceiving his tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of WW cult followers. This is pure sinister behavior. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Behold, this is what it looks like.
My faith or my understanding of Christianity? Not much. It seems to me a little bit, and I kind of wrote to him, then I kind of took it back.
I kind of wrote to him and I kind of took it back. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Can anyone say full of shit? I kind of wrote to him and I kind of took it back. Huh? Well, look at this smug face. Wow. Shekels. He loves your shekels. Titus 1. If you haven't read it, need to.
And I got disheartened, actually, and decided to no longer go to that church.
I didn't get my way. I'm not doing it. I'm not coming. I didn't get my way when I want it. Kitty Lason. This is an adult. A leader of the masses on the webnet, no less. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. And then people want to challenge me about Christian bashing, whether or not it's real. Wow. Well, most of these people, by the way, that's what they do. They challenge me. Apparently, they hate the truth, evidently.
Decided to go visit a different parish, a different church instead.
Or I'll show you. I'll become Protestant. Or is he becoming a different kind of Orthodox? Well, I'm not going to be part of the Greek church because them Greeks are evil. My bishop told me I have to have some integrity. I can't be maniacal online. I can't be angry. I can't form a mob to hate people. I can't get my shekels.
Because here's the thing, I was really into it. I really loved it for quite a while.
Yeah, you're special because you loved it. Yeah, that's the Orthodox faith, buddy. Anybody who walks in those doors tend to love it, unless they got steam coming out their heads or something like that. But that doesn't happen. That's Hollywood.
I started praying every day, being really interested and really devout. I really loved it. I was waiting to fully become part of the church and go.
There's a parable that Christ talks about, right? He talks about the seed. One seed fell on the wayside, the other seed fell in the vines, the other seed fell on a rock. The other seed fell on good soil. What kind of seed is he? Now you think the one on the rock is a good one. Well, strong, solid foundation. But the problem with the rock is it got burned up quickly, right? Flash in a pan. You're looking at a guy, I don't know how many years he was atheist after he left Islam. But then for a year decided to be Jew after visiting the Holy Land, Jerusalem. After visiting that, he decided to become a Jew, which I knew, and I was calling him out for. And then, well, he decided to become Christian, glory be to God. I think his wife had something to do with it, who's now ending up divorcing. I wonder if there's there's obviously a parallel there. Obviously, there's a parallel there. But I wonder if there's more to it than just a parallel, by the way. Anyway, now speculation. I don't want them calling me the devil just like they're doing Sham, because he's now Catholic. Because they hate the truth is really what it is. Anyway. But yeah, what's really going on here? What's really going on here? Well, obviously he loves the shekels. I mean, that's coming from him, from his mouth, not mine. That's his joke between him and his sociopathic cohort. Obviously, he gets quite upset when he doesn't get what he wants when he wants it, even though it's quite odd for him to have been, again, expedited in this process by his priest. Man, this is all kinds of very, very, very evil.
And all that. With this whole rejection, and then the repeated.
Nobody rejected you, jackass. What a hypocrite. Talk about projecting. This is what Muslims do. They project. Your bishop didn't reject you, malaka. Your bishop said, hey, man, get your spiritual crap together. What you're doing online is corrupting you. You need to cut yourself off from that. Oh, but I got rejected. No, you got rejected. You got set straight. We're given an ultimatum. Get your shit together spiritually, or you don't belong in the Orthodox Church. They rejected me. I love my shekels. You anti-Semites. I love my shekels.
Complaints that certain people like the ortho bros online made about me and the stuff that I like my.
Oh, I stand corrected. Well, I guess one of the ortho bros, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, did say something about this malaka. I'd like to know what that is or who that was. And if anybody knows, please put in the comments. Please. I want to check that out.
support of Israel, for example. It has
The Ortho Bro is in his support of Israel. Okay, I think that's him and is that him and Andrew or him and Jay Dyer? One of the two. Yeah, they go back and forth about that. The debates, the clickbait debates. Ooh, I'm going to destroy him. I'm a cannibal. I'm cooking him up. That's another thing these Christian apologists are doing. Cooking him up. I'm cooking up Muslims. Cooking. Kitty Lason, they're so disgusting. Lord have mercy on their souls. You need people need to hold them accountable. Shut their mouths. If you love God, shut their mouths. Wow. Look at this goof. What a perfect freeze frame. What a malaka.
nothing to do with faith. There was
Nothing to do with faith? See, this is why you're not being, I was going to say chrismatic. This is why you're not being baptized. You can't even recognize Christianity 101. Malaka. Malikia. This guy's full of malikia, full of sin. He loves his money so much that he can't even see Christianity 101. He's even got video. He could look in the mirror with his video. Nah. Titus 1. You cannot serve two masters. Didn't Jesus Christ himself say that? Behold, he's chosen shekels over Christ. Who else did that? The Jews who crucified their Messiah did that. And this guy, here he is, crucifying his bishop for the very same thing. Wolf in sheep's clothing, behold. You've been warned about this. Here's your wake-up call. For the love of God, here it is.
nothing at all in the history and the official doctrines and declarations of the church that say you cannot support Israel, for example. But certain
So, did he have a conversation with his bishop about whether or not the issue is that he's supporting Israel or about his passions? Without even knowing who his bishop is, I have no idea who his bishop is, by the way. I don't know where this guy lives. If I knew, I could tell you who his bishop is. No idea who his bishop is. But whoever it is, I'm starting to like the guy. But I want proof that his bishop said something about the Jews. What a fucking sack of shit. Because he knows that his followers, his cult, are getting triggered right now. Oh, anti-Semitic. That Christian, that Greek is anti-Semitic. No, not the Jews. Slandering the Greeks, undermining them, controlling them, even to this day, the current Greek president, prime minister, whatever. Either way, being a toy for the Jews, the state of Israel right now, as we speak. No. Henry Kissinger, the American Jew in the 70s, when the Turks invaded the Greek island of Cyprus, said the Greeks they're stubborn. Responding to Europe in public, Henry Kissinger said, an American Jew leader, said, the Greeks are stubborn. In other words, Turkey needs to be able to invade the Greek island of Cyprus. The Greeks are stubborn. That was his response publicly. Followed that up immediately with, the Greeks' culture needs to be undermined, their religion. Here's this malaka doing that. The very same thing. By the way, Turks, centuries-old business partner of the U.S., UK to some degree, most of the U.S., opium trade. Well, still occupying that Greek island. Iran just sent a missile, what do you call those things, a droid, to a UK base on the occupied island by the Muslim Turks. What was the UK response? Nothing. What was the US response? Nothing. What was the Russian response, by the way, by ISIS? Nothing.
people today who are loud proponents of Orthodox Christianity are people who are anti-Semitic, who are anti.
What? Define anti-Semitic. And he's been called out on this. I haven't watched the debates. I don't like debates. But so If you're called out for your evil love of money, shekels, as you put it, as he puts it, I'm now quoting him again. When I say shekels, I'm quoting uh, Mutt and Jeff over there, the sociopath and the atheist. That's who the Jews support, by the way, a sociopath and an atheist who are on the top when it comes to followers on YouTube. Go figure. That's no coincidence, is it? Or is it? I mean, some would claim it's a coincidence. Oh, they're just wonderful. I'm going to have to do an entire stream or something about Hebrew Hollywood. I've done plenty of work on that. Its influence. I'd like to anyone challenge me on the influence of Hollywood on civilization worldwide for this past century. But in addition to that, the banks, the U.S. Industrial war machine. How about Berla and the Pfizer, the 21st century genocide? Jew. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Soros people, I'm not one of the Soros people. I don't look at these conspiracy theories. I just judge them by their fruits, as we all should. But I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Anti-Semite, is that even a thing? At this point, is that even a thing? But this wolf in sheep's clothing uses as a gimmick, as a trigger, gaslighting, to activate his WWW cult followers. Oh, the anti-Semites, get the Greeks, get the Orthodox bishops, get the Orthobros, whatever the hell that's supposed to be. By the way, as far as the Orthobros, the leader of which, I guess he's a leader because he's been Orthodox the longest, 6 years, 9 years, somehow within a few years made himself the face of Orthodoxy. Christian bashing, Greek bashing, pro-Ruski, slandering sack of crap. The other one, 6 months, less than a year, I don't know, give or take, also made himself, started a channel, thugs, ortho thugs. What the is that supposed to mean? Who are these people, man? And why is YouTube making him the face of Orthodoxy, along with this clown for a few months? Where's the accountability? What are these community standards, by the way? That's a whole other discussion. That's a whole other series of live streams.
Israel. So they don't like that I support Israel. So they want to complain about me and make it a big deal.
I want to see proof of this. You and one other guy, maybe two. I want to see proof of this ass clown. And by the way, notice how he's conflating his arguments with a couple of orthobros, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, to his conversation with his bishop. Look at that smug face and conniving, vile wolf in sheep's clothing. He knows he's full of it. Yet people are gobbling this shit up.
What happens as a result is people like
look at this duper's delight, man. I swear to smack this guy in the face. God forbid I ever meet him. Has he repented yet? I don't follow these clowns anymore, either one of them. Maybe I'm wrong in doing this. Has he repented yet for any of this? Let me know in the chat. In the chat, let me check the chat. Speaking of which, yep, nobody there. And in the comments afterward, has he repented for any of this? I doubt it. But let me know if I'm wrong.
Certain bishops become influenced by this whole way of thinking, by the whole pressure, by other political ideas, and start putting a stumbling block. I'm very deliberate with the use of this phrase here.
Yeah, I know you're being very deliberate. You crafty wolf in sheep's clothing. Look at this goat. He's a goat. He's not a sheep. He's a goat. What the Bible warns you about. Those of you the Bible only, Titus 1. Here's your warning right here. Look, it even looks like a goat. Does it get more evident than this? Meh. And he's hurting his WWE goat cult. Goat cult. Meh. Anti-Semitic.
A stumbling block between me and my community.
My community, my shekels, my cult. What a slaves ball, man. Again, I'm having more respect for Muslims at this point than these vermin.
With the church, with Christianity, with Christ.
Oh, so I said a lot of buzzwords here. Congratulations. He's doing his little Trump hand gestures. What the hell is that supposed to be? Was he queer now? Lisa.
Because they have a problem with certain things that I do, because I don't agree with what people want me to agree, certain bishops or certain people want to put a stumbling block in my path.
What a scumbag, dude. I mean, he sounds like the guy from the Southeast Asia. What's his name? The one that Christian Prince likes to go back and forth with. They like to take me out with big meals and very big meals and lots of money and very big meals. And they like to put stumbling blocks because I'm a Zionist and I love my shekels. And if you say anything true about the Jews or about me, oh God, have mercy. People buy this stuff. This is what concerns. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, hell, again, I'm one of mass media's biggest victims for most of my life. I was running around being a Zionist myself up until very, very, very recently. I was running around being green agenda. I still struggle with that. And the list goes on. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all that people buy this crap as they're passively taking it all in, especially with crafty people like this and how to deliver it. Oh, you said the Jews are control. That's their argument. No argument whatsoever, no logical claim afterwards. Just like libtards. That's it. Emotional. And what do you even call that? Slander. Oh man, hypocrisy, that's for sure. I mean, I would be laughing at this, but this is no joking matter. What he just did is, well, what Judas did. Let's be real about it. You're looking at a personification of Judas. I want proof. I want proof that his bishop said something about Jews.
And prevent me from becoming part of the church. At which point...
Prevent you from becoming part of the church, what a motherfucker. No, motherfucker. No, you evil snake. You worse than Muslim slime. Nobody prevented you from nothing. He said you need to get off online because it is doing to you what you, motherfucker, are doing to me in this very moment. You see how angry I am? This is what these motherfuckers do to people. And that's why you need to be online. That's why I don't create content anymore. Because I don't want to be like this. But this shit needs to be addressed because nobody's doing it. Why? Because YouTube won't allow it. I can get away with it. Maybe. I mean, I got all kinds of pounced, by the way, just for the record. For years I've been pounced. It was actually Thaddeus, Reason Answers, doing his live stream on Hollywood, of all things, that helped me realize how much I was being ghosted. I had no idea before that live stream that I was being ghosted. And from there, my channel started to grow very slowly, the next few years, and very, very fucking slowly. Not that my content is great. It's crap. I'll be honest. I know it's crap. But is it really that bad compared to some of the other stuff? Yeah, these other people get thousands of followers at least. This guy, this shekel lover, and all his slander and his bullshit and his anger, nothing but anger, the counterpoint to the sociopath jokester. All kinds of promotion by Yubu. Go figure.
It makes me think of Jesus and how he spoke to the leaders of the temple.
Whoa. Look at the look in his eyes. Again, it takes a special kind of person to compare himself to Jesus Christ. Like a TV evangelist. Heal! Give me your money. Heal! I'll pray for you. Send me your money. Shekels, shekels, shekels. Shekels, shekels, shekels. Ah, Lord have mercy. The eyes are the windows to the soul. What a freeze frame. The eyes are the windows to the soul.
How they gatekeep and put stumbling blocks before the people, right?
Wow. So a bishop is giving you an opportunity to correct your vileness, is pulling a stumbling block in front of the people. You're making my followers stumble. This is a cult leader, man. This is what Patriotic Christian want to do with me was the Mahdi group of Muslims. We talked about them before. I don't really know anything about them other than what he shared, and I forgot, what we talked about, a couple of years ago, I think it was. But this is what he's doing. He's creating a cult mob that's getting frothy, or is making them frothy about a Christian bishop who's evidently actually Christian. Otherwise, he'd be, yeah, okay, yeah, cool. Oh, you got hundreds of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers on YouTube. Awesome, you're gonna make us look great. Yeah. Let's baptize you. I mean, if you were a piece of shit, that's what he would be doing. But he's not a piece of shit like this vermin, this wolf in sheep's clothing. And therefore, he did the correct thing, the Orthodox thing, the Christian thing. And now, this guy, worse than Muslims, or like Muslims, but worse, because he's pawning himself off as Christian, an Orthodox Christian no less, and he's behaving like this, creating a cult ready to kill, no doubt. Ready to kill. What do you think these people that are deviating, when it comes down to it, when the Antichrist appears and the Christians are being slaughtered, what are they going to do? Are they going to stand their ground? Or are they going to keep their integrity intact? Like Anthony Bloom's father challenges. Doesn't matter whether you live or die, but whether or not you kept your integrity and why you died. Or are they going to slander for the sake of shekels, for I, for ego? If you can't get Christianity 101 right, you don't deserve to be in Orthodox faith. But you've called yourself out because you're a lover of money. Titus 1, you're a lover of money. You're exposing yourself. But unfortunately, there's so many people that are so passive that just believe, hang on every word that comes out your filthy mouth, that they're buying this stuff up. They've bought this stuff up. And the rest of them are already pagan, atheist, Jews. So then there's that. Doing them no favors. You should be calling to repentance. You shouldn't be telling Christians to idolize King David and to venerate Jews like they're infallible. No, instead, you need to be calling the Jews to repentance. If you were actually Christian, where's that behavior? Didn't John the Baptist say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand? Who was he talking to? Who was he talking to? Right. So that's all they are. That's their argument. Anti-Semites.
I don't know. I got really disheartened with all this. Decided to go somewhere else. I have my big issues with how the church is being run. And I'm sorry, but I can't just shut up and be like, oh, I just need to be quiet and do what I'm being told. I try.
Oh man, this guy's a real piece of work. I can't take it. You got to watch the rest of it for yourself. Again, either with Christ or you're not. You be the judge. Judge only less can be judged. Let's move on. Speaking of ass clowns, Jesse Lee Peterson and the Fallen State. Hold on, who is it? Oh, Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer and Jesse Lee Peterson. Man, we've got no. Yeah, I don't have any timestamps for this one. Maybe we could do this one at a future date. I don't have the patience for this. Forgive me. Yeah, I just don't. Oh, here's one. Yeah. Here's an actor. He's been in some movies that I've watched. You guys might recognize him from the what is it called? The Mortal Kombat. Maybe not. Some other movies. The Rising Sun. One of my favorite books. Hollywood really screwed that movie up.
On army bases,
Well, The Rising Sun, by the way, really, and how they screwed that up, Hollywood screwed that up, really shows how Bricks has taken over, amongst other things.
healer typecast as a killer, a man who secretly sabotaged his own film, then defended it on television, then apologized in a limousine the next morning, a villain who became an Orthodox saint's namesake, an American who took Russian citizenship because it was
Right. So it became Orthodox, but of course Russian Orthodox. He moves to somewhere in Asia. Anyway, whatever. Next. What do we got here? Oh, this one, Nadir. My God, this was Fearless Truth's first. Nick, he goes by Nick. This was his first debate. Not that I could do much better, but it was bad. It was bad. He let Nadir just run all over him, and this clown. I don't even know why he's giving Nadir platforms. Nadir like did another one after this, another one before. I don't know. He did like a few around that time. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. And didn't any of Fearless Truth's friends from the Christian apologist circle, didn't they warn him about Nadir before doing this debate? Where were they at? Why was Nick even doing this? He said that he talked about this afterwards, like he was supposed to do with someone else, in the last minute, Nadir was thrown in. He was like, all right, whatever, never heard of Nadir, let's do that. I don't know if that was accidental or crafty, or I don't know what to make of it. But given the rest of the behaviors, something tells me he was set up for that. All right. Let's do a couple of videos about YouTube in general. This guy, I'm not a personal fan of either.
Everyone, Jeremy here from The Quartering, and this is an absolutely massive story. We already kind of knew that these Meta glasses, just like Google Glass, were going to end up being just a tool for mass surveillance. Well, a brand new, amount of research and lawsuit now proves that they are probably worse than anyone imagined. And there's even apps that are coming out now that alert you to when somebody is wearing them in the room. This is not.
Yeah, I mean, OCR and these other glasses and all that, it's just bad news. It's bad enough we've got the cell phones and we had the Vax Pass cell phone thing going on and cell phone payments. And I mean, just bad news. So there's that. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can watch this. Let's see what this one's about. Same guy. YouTube to require ID and death of the internet privacy. I mean, was there ever internet privacy?
Quartering, and there's a rumor going around on X that YouTube will reportedly require a government ID to access the comment section starting in 2027. If this is true, this would be probably the end of internet comments.
Okay, and again, this is I already mentioned this a few months ago. As soon as they made the change where you got to suddenly start scroll all the way down past these other videos and ads and all this craziness just to get to the comments, I commented right away that, hey, this is just one step to censor our comments as well. They no longer show dislikes, and they're censoring proper content, true content, Christian content, real Christian content, and now they're censoring comments. Is there anything real going to be on the internet anymore by next year?
I am still somebody that likes to read all the comments. I read your comments down below. I interact in the comment section. Probably not as much as I should. Yeah, to be totally honest, I probably should more. But this is not just YouTube. This is, I mean, practically every app now is doing some form of age verification. And this is crazy.
Right. Also, face verification. There's a video, a meme going around where an old Chinese woman was being lifted. I think it was an ATM machine or something, so for the face recognition. An old Chinese woman. I shouldn't be laughing at that. It's a sad state, but the visual is quite funny, actually. But yeah, I mean, that's where we're at. And again, this is just the beginning. They've created all kinds of problems, and their solution to the problem will be their microchipping, which I've been saying for a while now. I don't know, a year, maybe 2 years, when it dawned on me. Craziness. Sorry. You got, yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Court.
Oh, this is again cooking. I'm only shared this because it's a little ironic, quite tragic. Here, you listen.
This is a very, very weird story. I've done a lot of research into the local community where this happened, and there just doesn't seem to be any answers when you would think that there would be many answers. So somebody literally baked themselves into a goo in a Walmart oven.
I encourage you guys to watch this. It's like 13 minutes long. To see the details is quite suspect. I'm not gonna assume who was behind it, but all these people that volunteer information and work at the Walmarts and work with these cookers and so on go on and on about all these safety measures where it's pretty much impossible to lock yourself into a oven. Let me rephrase that. It is impossible to lock yourself into an oven with all these different measures. And the only way you could be locked is if someone locked the door on the outside while you're in it. So there's an evident crime based on that alone. But yeah, those Christians that are going on about cooking, I'm cooking you, I'm going to cook, you're being cooked. You better shut your mouths. Even Lloyd and I have our differences, but even he acknowledged that cannibalism was one of the themes that Hollywood promotes. And he cited some things. It's on a live stream that he asked me to do, how Hollywood promotes Islam. I haven't posted that on YouTube, but you go on his channel, you might find it. I don't know when I did it, maybe a year or so ago. Yeah, I haven't posted it on YouTube for my own reasons. I don't really, I'm not a fan of his. But yeah, it was somebody else was encouraging me to reach out to him, and I did. And he was like, how can I help you? I was like, all right, well, let's do a live stream together. He's like, all right, cool. Yeah, it turned out actually better than I thought, because I thought it was going to be his usual stuff, and he was. It took a moment to slander me, to gaslight me about the Beastie Boys, and put words in my mouth, try to paint me like some kind of loon, like he does, like all these Zionist ass clowns do, and lie about people, slander people. That's all they got, like Muslims. That's what Jews do. That's all Jews got. Anyway, but yeah, Yeah, my point is this academic. Some people, well, not everybody, but some people have a respect for Lloyd because of his academia background. But I've been in academia for years myself. I'm not impressed with academia, to say the least. Anyway, yeah, it's a real thing. Conditioning people to feel like there's a inevitable dystopian future that we can do nothing about. Resistance is futile. That kind of mindset that's been implanted and indoctrinated in the minds of the masses worldwide, along with cannibalism. Well, when you die, cannibalism is going to be part of that dystopian future, along with eating bugs, all kinds of nastiness, vileness, and along with, of course, sexual deviancy. Well, the sexual deviancy, I mean, Hebrew Hollywood, what have they promoted? Let's not get off on the tangent. I'm going to do a whole live about that. I feel compelled to do it at this point. All right, let's move on. I believe I shared that. Let me make sure I shared the link with you guys. I did. Let's move on to the last one. 60 million. Hallelujah. I exposed the most corrupt churches in America. Not a major task to do. I mean, I could go down a list here, show you some of these things. This one, I believe I did a video in the past. I think it was Paul Sutliff. Yep, this was the one. Paul Sutliff told me that this guy is not really Christian, but according to perception, he is. Whether or not certain people believe that he is or not. I mean, by some Protestant standards, all he has to do is say the magic words, I believe in Jesus, and he's Christian and he's done. That's all he's got to do. So there you go. By those standards, Mormons are Christian. Anyway, yeah, so there's a few. I'll go ahead and just share this in the chat and in the description, because as you can see, spiritually had enough. Obviously, Patriotic Christian is not going to appear either. We've had ample time for that. I hope he's well. Again, pray for him. Pray for me. Again, okay, this is a good time now to talk about me. Let's talk about me. This is anecdotal, but I think there's something to learn about these experiences that I've been through recently. Speaking of ego, I've come to terms with just how much of an egomaniac I've been or become or what have you, and just how much I've deviated from Christ, from my spirituality. Within a few years, no matter a few years, I've been talking about it. I've been aware of it. I was aware of it before I went into this live streaming thing. That was a conscious choice on my part. So let's revisit that. Before 2020, right before 2020, I was applying for a doctoral program, wanting to do a research, empirical quantitative research on how Hollywood has represented a short list and, let's say, standard list of Christian symbols and terms for this past half century. That was the doctoral research question. And the framework, it was great. I literally wowed pretty much both schools of theology. So, and I was doing this in the School of Theology. I was in the right place for this, choosing a School of Theology because, well, it was theologians that need to acknowledge whether or not a representation is good or bad. Therefore, yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's remove this. Okay. So, yeah. So basically, that didn't go through. So there I am at a much older age, working, being in and out of academia, in and out of formation for the diaconate, messing things up along the way. Trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do with my life now? And I'm still actually, I'm going to give this one more push, by the way, to do this PhD research. I'm getting ready to submit yet another third version of the same kind of research, just very basic. Give it one more shot. But anyway, I was like, okay, so now what do I do with my life, with my knowledge? I really like this idea. I really want to do it. Nobody's really talking about it, at least not in a proper way. I mean, what, you got Peugeot talking about symbolism, but yet it sounded like some kind of Masonic clown. I'm not saying that he is. I don't know what his deal is, but it's pretty weird. Jay Dyer doing this tongue thing when he talks about some freaky movies that he loves, him and his wife love. I mean, is he exposing them? Is he promoting them? And he does that once in a blue moon, but then there's the rest of the Jay Dyer antics. Who else we got? Nerdrotic and the Dweebs. I know maybe a couple of those guys are Christian. Barely sounds like it. I mean, who do we have? Who do we have that's properly exposing this stuff? I think the closest is a guy who doesn't do live streams. He does videos. Anyway, there's nobody really out there that I've seen that is properly addressing the issue of how Hollywood has undermined Christianity. Never mind promoting all these things: paganism, abortion, drug use, well, premarital sex, infidelity, rape even. Their rape scenes are quite erotic. That's not accidental, and that's not me talking. They spend a lot of time on how they frame things and how they present things. Pedophilia even, grooming. I mean, galore, really, for a century, really, if you look at it. Sodomy, galore. Murder. I mean, the murder goes on and on. Cannibalism, as we said, in every shape, way, form. Despair. Dystopian. I mean, have you, again, I mentioned this on Thaddeus' channel a few years ago, and he was scoffing at the idea that Hollywood is somehow intentionally making everything gloomy. When after I did that, a year or two, pretty much all the major guys have been commenting, what's going on with the lighting lately? And I've been talking about years ago, I was getting laughed at about it. But yeah, the lighting thing is not a small thing. It's Hollywood 101. But when things are dark, it's and why do I look dark? I'm trying to hide my background. I'm embarrassed of my confines. I'm gonna give you at least a little more light. But I'm absolutely poor, to say the least. So as you can see, there's a bed in the background, but it's just if you guys just knew what my living conditions. I've talked about it in one of my live streams. Actually, I showed you guys. It's not good, but I'm not that kind of type where I obsess about what I have and don't have. So it doesn't, thankfully, affect me emotionally. But yeah, it's still not exactly an inviting image, is it? But anyway, okay, so yeah, Hollywood has done a number on our psyche worldwide for over a century. That's just Hollywood. We're not talking about radio. We're not talking about television. We're not talking about print. We're not talking about the internet in a very short time, just in a matter of 3 decades, really? Just the 90s, really, is when it started becoming mainstream, computers and the internet. Yeah, not good times. Anyway, so yeah, going back to the whole point there, I kind of went off on a tangent. My apologies. I like to do that. So yeah, I'm waiting for this. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? It's around 2019. I'm now, because of that, I'm leaving the academic scene, moving into my own apartment on the beach, a very small studio. Again, I'm okay with that. I'm not about what I have and what I don't have. But I was living actually in a little beach village, but I never enjoyed it. I was there for a few years. I might have been to the beach a few times. I wasn't over there partying. I mean, women didn't mess around at all. But what I did do, and what I chose before 2020 lockdown, after the academic thing, I was like, I'm going to do my live streaming. I'm going to dedicate myself to this because I need to get this message out there. And knowing what I know with psychology and with the theology and the education and all these things, again, back in 2010, 2011, when apps were first a thing, learning from the best on how to design apps, develop apps, evaluate apps, I already knew what I was getting into by becoming a content creator, what it's going to do to me. But I figured, well, this is my sacrifice. I'm going to do this to myself so others can learn about mass media and what it's doing to everyone. A few years into this, I'll be talking about it regularly, how it's corrupting me spiritually. And this is why I've been not doing live streams for a while now. It's destroyed me. And that's come to reality. I've been on a crossroads about whether or not I'm going to become a monk or whether or not I stay in the world to continue what I'm doing. I've talked to several abbots now, leaders of monasteries, and some of which are known to recruit people pretty openly. Yet there's a couple of those that literally laughed in my face, not trying to be ugly, but an involuntary laugh like, huh, you? So there was that. But I had a really deep conversation, like actually a couple of days ago, not that long ago, with someone that I know, against someone on Mount Athos, the holy mountain. And he was, he was a very good, I wish I could share some of the things that he shared with me. It was very enlightening. But yeah, there it was. Basically, we're talking about, well, I've been reading Beginning to Pray and The Way of the Pilgrim again after so many years and finding new things in that. But one of the things that I noticed was just how removed I was, or the way I now feel about praying unceasingly. It was only a few years ago that I still desired to attain this ability to pray unceasingly, as described by so many, including Paul, of course. But I found myself reading this book. I'm like, man, that sounds like a bit much. That was my internal feeling. That was what was in my heart. Like, man, I don't know about this. In a matter of years, we're talking about less than 5 years. I went from wanting to do all these things to serve people and to be in the faith, even, wanting to be a celibate deacon. Of course, praying unceasingly, having that relationship, that close relationship with God, to now just foaming at the mouth, talking about racism, talking about feminism, talking about all kinds of internet malachias with the passion, right, like I just did, passion. And now in a spiritual state where, praying unceasingly, what, are you kidding me? You mean all day? It's a problem, people. It's not a small problem. And this is what happens. Even the faithful will be deceived. Even me, again, that has this background, that already knows going into it, hey, as I'm going through it, as my spiritual state is degrading, period by period, year by year, me talking about it publicly, it's still reached this place where I'm like, wow, really? Praying unceasingly? Who are these fools? So, speaking of the Turks and the Jews, every year at the Holy Sepulchre, the Holy Light is given. I did not know this, but the Catholics go the week before the Orthodox go to the Holy Sepulchre to receive the Holy Light. Is that where the Catholics go? Actually, I'm not sure about that. But they go a week before. They were not being allowed in Holy Sepulchre leading up to Pascha, when the Orthodox go and receive the Holy Light. Yeah, as far as the Catholics getting the Holy Light, I'm not sure about that, people. I misspoke. That was just an assumption off the top of my head. I really don't know what's going on there. So look into that yourself. I'm too busy, obviously, with my own spiritual struggles to be worrying about what the Catholics are doing or not doing, or Protestants are doing, not doing, or whatever. At any rate, again, I don't mean to sound like I'm indifferent. Obviously, I'm not indifferent. I'm on here, putting myself out there for a reason. But I'm not going to obsess about, again, where people are or aren't spiritually. That's my point. I like to help, obviously, but I'm not going to concern myself with what we call semantics in America. Anyway, yeah, so this year, yeah, they weren't going to allow the Orthodox in. They tried that in 2020 lockdown. The Orthodox said, no, buddy. You can have a problem on your hands if you try that. Jews. And by the way, the Jews put the Turks in charge of the Orthodox Christians being able to enter. What the hell is that about? Jews. So the Jews were like, again, this time, oh, well, we're creating World War III. Sorry, we're not going to let you into your holy sepulcher. Or that's like, but anyway, before we get to that, so it's now Holy Week, and I spoke to a friend. I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy what they're doing. But it just so happens, well, it wasn't, the conversation wasn't like that. But in that conversation, I mentioned for whatever reason that I do have the holy light from last year. It's still kindled. He's like, "Whoa, man, maybe we need to be getting it from you." I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. You know what? That's not a bad idea." So the following day, I went and talked to the local priest. I was like, "Look, in case they don't let us into the Holy Sepulchre this year, I do have the light from last year. It's still going. It's still kindled." He's like, "Cool. Then in that case, on Saturday, we'll get it from you, Holy Saturday." So Friday night, when we're doing the vigil service for Christ has been crucified. He's crucified Thursday night. So Friday we do a vigil service. It's quite a big, profound service. Thursday night, really, to me, is the most emotional one. I can't lie. I break down every time I go there. Well, not every time, but I break down. Yeah, I do. Just, the nailing. And then Friday, they do the service all day. The bells are ringing. Stores are closed. And then Friday night, you go and you pay your respects. That night, I was, I don't know, full of myself, ego. Yeah, I got the holy light. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm going to go tomorrow morning during the service. Yeah, I don't really need to be there. So I'm skipping out. Go to bed early. 2 days away from Bosca, guess what happens? Not even 2 days away. Well, technically. The light, 360 plus days, the holy light is burning bright in my home, helping to keep me straight to some degree. For sure, I'll be in a much worse state than I already am without it, for sure. 2 days away, technically. There goes the holy light. Wake up the next morning, go do my usual routine. There's no holy light. I posted about it. That was a rude awakening. I can even remember having some kind of disdain, like, oh man, now I've got to be responsible for this holy light thing. Ah, what a burden. It's almost as if I willed it to extinguish. Mad at God, like, why? Why are you making me do this? Now, if I'm going to be honest, this being asked by the Patriarchate to go work for them and me like saying no, I gave you my reasons already. But another part of me wonders, was that ego? Was that a reluctance to take on that extra responsibility? Same thing with NATO. Not a fan of NATO, not a fan of the U.S. Department of Defense. When they reached out to me, was it really ego, or was it avoiding responsibility? But that's couch stuff. But then again, is it? I mean, is it all interrelated? The ego, well, I don't want to be responsible for others. I don't want to be responsible for myself. Therefore, I'm going to call myself Christian while actually being anti-Christian in my walk in life. Like the Malacca Turk, apostate prophet. Again, forgive me for that snarkiness, but if you love that guy, help him out, set him straight. If you don't love that guy, at least do it for your love of God. But yeah, man, it's a real thing. If we're not praying unceasingly, and if we don't have it in our hearts. See, that's why the mistranslations, faith alone, your faith alone crowd. This is what Paul was, who was it Paul? Listen to me. Anyway, this is what was being referenced there. It wasn't that only by faith, but is, in other words, through faith. Your works don't matter if you don't have it in your heart. All this sacrifice online and whatever minuscule things I might do mean nothing if I don't keep my relationship with God kindled genuinely in my heart. And now, here we are, paying for it. Yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Today was the commemoration or celebration or remembrance of the paralytic at Bethesda. The magical, not the magical, listen to me, the miraculous well. Listen, that's mass media speaking magical. Anyway, again, by the way, Hollywood has redefined miracle. That's another one of the things. But yeah, so the miraculous stirring of the waters and the paralytic, and people walking over the paralytic because they want to be the first into the water as soon as the waters get stirred by the angel. And I know all that. I can remember all that because of an Orthodox Christian icon, by the way. I'm a picture guy. I need pictures. Those of you who think that's from Satan, God have mercy on your soul. Shut your mouths at least. But repent. Fix your hearts. God, for the love of God, fix your hearts. I mean, it's literally diabolically backward. Get it together. Get it right. For the love of God, get it right. Anyway, yeah, so that's what we commemorated. We commemorated some other things along the way. You know what? Let's take a look. Let's go down memory lane. Let's do that together if you don't mind. Hold on. Let me get my calendar up. Okay. Put this on stage. Voila. All right. All right, so yeah, today was the, oh, that doesn't help. Let me see if it's going to let me do it. Sometimes this thing acts funky. Nope. Anyway, whatever. How do I? Okay. So we had, oh, I did change. Let's go back. Let's go back in time, so to speak. So we've just recently celebrated James, the apostle and brother of St. John, the theologian. One of my favorites. Wasn't he the first bishop? The myrrh-bearing woman. I didn't go that Sunday. And that was a conditioning issue. I'm so sick and tired of feminism that I have an internal disdain for this type of thing. Oh, it's the women this and the women that. Every time I see women now, it's like I get triggered. It's like a literal psychological trigger, like, oh, feminism. And I'm not saying they're being feminist by remembering the myrrh-bearing women. Either way, shame on me. If we're not going to church for that reason, Kitty Layson. Okay, and then they celebrated Mark. Of course, I have to tell you another good one. Okay, George. That's another big one. Another big one. I've been told by some from Lebanon that churches that associate with St. George are left alone by Muslims. Maybe that's a regional thing. Maybe that's a personal interpretation, or maybe that's true. I really don't know. If anybody knows, has some something they can share with me on that, I'd appreciate it. Doubting Thomas. Well, I just shared my story with you, and how I really need to get back to my own spiritual well-being and my internal prayer rule as I say the prayers, concentrate on every word, go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. I went to Patmos Island, by the way. One of the things they have there is a relic of St. Thomas. Not a fan, but these relics. But it was weird because they have his skull there. So creepy. But I saw what I was warned about at seminary. Those that are formed priests, by the way, orthodoxy, let you know that the worship of the items themselves is taboo and forbidden. In other words, do not allow that. As future clergy, do not allow that. And we were told by this liturgist professor, of a priest, that you might see yayadas, you might see the old ladies do crazy things like grab a piece there and a little thing there of something, and therefore literally doing what they're not supposed to, idolizing the item itself and waiting for it to do something, miraculous. Now look, even St. Peter and his handkerchief was miraculous, right? It healed all these, what was it, lepers or something? Paralytics? Not to mention the old woman in a bleeding issue who grabbed the garment of Christ. I mean, these people aren't pagan, are they? So those of you that are backward, get a grip. I mean, your Bible only. Read your Bibles. Get over yourselves. Katie Layson. But yeah, the leaders, the people that create the priests, that'll go into the communities, they're in charge of these people, teach us this is no-no. For the record. Also for the record, we're not saying that the saint is creating a miracle or the relic is creating a miracle, but the Holy Spirit that works through these things listens to the prayers of the saints because they have a special relationship with God. Unlike us, and I know there's a lot of ego in the West, but we have the saints in a special place for a reason. Read the lives of the saints. You want to compare yourself to them. Maybe you are like them. Maybe you're better than them. But at least don't be prejudiced. At least read, educate yourself about it. At least read about their lives before you make such kind of statements or you have those kind of beliefs in your head, in your heart. Give you a lesson. Okay, what else we got? Oh, this one, again, also, this is in Mytilene, Lesbos. They have a monastery there dedicated to that. I'm not well versed enough, to be honest with you, to appreciate that in that moment at this time. I need to revisit that for sure. And that was quite the experience. I was there to help with the 21st century Hijra because I was raised in America. I didn't know. I learned firsthand. I learned, and of course, a week after we had Palm Sunday, Holy Friday, which I just talked about, and Pascha. Again, Thursday is when we read about the crucifixion, the 12 Gospels, long service, very emotional one. And then Friday, it's the vigil. And then Saturday, well, going through midnight and on into the next day, it's the resurrection. Okay? So for those of you going on about, oh, well, it's 2 days or 3 days, it's 3 days. It is 3 days. Even biblically speaking, it's 3 days. Even biblically speaking. Actually, from today's reading, it was in today's reading about how it's 3 days, amongst other things. And the traditional calendar, when the sun sets, after the sun sets, when the sun sets, it's the end of that day, and therefore the next day follows. So after the sun sets, the new day begins. And through twilight, the new day begins, and the rising of the sun, you can argue it's midday. So through twilight into the third day, on the third day, we're recognizing right before the sun rises the resurrection of Jesus Christ. On the third day. 1, 2, 3. Third day. Okay. Did you want the fourth day? Did you want the next day? No, it doesn't say the fourth day anywhere. On the third day. Oops. But unfortunately, the Protestants are just not well versed enough, or rather not give any orthodoxy any credit. So they talk about, I don't know what their deal is, but they never address this. It's been difficult to watch them falling around like they do. I mean, they do a lot of good work, but hey, so do Muslims. So do atheists. So do pagans. Being nice and doing good things doesn't make you correct. All right. As we saw with apostate prophet. Amongst others. All right. Yeah, obviously I'm getting, let's go back to this month. Hold on. Just so you can see the ones coming up. Come on, get rid of this daggone thing. Oh, let me get rid of this Malik, yeah. How do we get rid? Oh, this way. All right, next month, this month. So today was the paralytic. Then we have next Sunday the Good Samaritan. Cool. So that's a good story, where anyone can approach Christ. Okay, I made the comment early in this live stream about someone entering an Orthodox church and their head steaming, and how that's just Hollywood. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't know. That never happens. I don't know, but I know one thing, that some people carry this guilt trip and feel like, oh, if I do this, then my head's going to explode because I saw the Hollywood movie. No. Christ is open to everyone. We're all God's children. That's his message. Sunday the blind man. How appropriate. For those who have ears, let them listen. And on the 21st, we're celebrating the Holy Ascension. Christ goes into heaven. After spending, I think it's 40 days with his apostles, his disciples. And then they're celebrating the First Ecumenical Council after that, which I mean, I'm not a leader. I don't know why they do that before Pentecost. In me, my logical mind, it should be the other way around. But maybe it just so happens on the dates. This is celebrated. I really don't know. Honestly, don't know what's going on there. Saturday of Souls, where you pray for the dead. I know people are like, what are you praying for the dead? Why are you praying to dead people? Maybe to you they're dead because you're an anti-Christian, servant of Satan. You're backward. You're diabolically backward. But the saints are not dead, FYI. Isn't it Christ that says you will not die? I mean, that he's making a place for us in heaven, his followers, that is. I'm being vain because I don't know where I'm going to end up. And thank you, Phil, for saying that I will end up in heaven. That's nice of you, but it's not your place either. It's nobody's place. It's God's place. And if we go by Revelations, what St. John did on Patmos Island, what he wrote, then, well, God knows. Nobody else. Okay, that's all I got, folks. How much time did I spend on this already? 2 hours. Okay, what can I say? It's kind of embarrassing. I don't want to do this for the sake of performance, but I love I think it's Turpayon, the Christ is Risen. I don't know the English version. I fumble around a lot with that, so I'll spare you. But you can find that online, on YouTube even, I think. So I encourage you to. But indulge me. For those of you that do know this, sing with me. And, just remember, regardless of what's going on in the world, what they throw at you, Christ is already victorious. Jesus Christos Nika. That's what the cross was about. Not a defeat, Muslims, atheists, bad thief. But just like the good thief recognized on the cross, a victory. Blessed are those who believe and endure to the end. This too shall come to pass. Matthew 24. Mark 13:13. Love y'all. Take care. And thank you again for your support. Those of you who supported me. And those of you who've graced me with your presence, so to speak. Pray for me. I don't know what to do. But at this point, it seems like I might have to stay in the world. Not become a monk, that is. And that's going to be a special challenge. Not just because of all the crazy stuff going on, but what's going on in my personal life too. Then there's that. I've got people, communists, that want me dead for being Christian. No joke. I'd say at least a couple, maybe a handful. I mean, a handful eye me for sure. A couple all but literally stated, I want to kill you because you're Christian. So, and that's not even all of it. Anyway, all right, people. Love you all. Take care. God bless. And here we go. Christos anesti ek nekron thanaton πατήσας και της εν της μνήμασι ζωήν χαρισάμενος. Take care. God bless.